Welcome to another episode of College Cash Corner, the podcast that helps you take control of your financial future. I'm your host, Tara, and today we have a special episode focused on ways to pay for college. Joining today is my co-host, Natalia. Natalia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to dive into this topic. I think it's really important as a student to know how to pay for college.
Yes, definitely. And the fact that there are numerous ways to pay for college to make it more affordable. We'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, let's just acknowledge that college isn't cheap. That's a fact. What I, many years ago, spent on paying for college today is probably 2 to 3 times that amount of money. So oftentimes when people think of college costs, I think the first thing that comes to most people's minds is tuition. So let's talk a little bit about tuition. First of all, in your experience, Natalia, is tuition the only thing that has to be paid for when going to college?
Oh no, you definitely need to consider many other aspects as your housing, the food that you will taking. Even though we are students and we don't eat that much or with that regularity, we need food and we should be working on stay healthy, even though if you want to go to the gym or just consider that you will have to spend more money than just tuition, also for books and your supplies.
Well, let's start on the topic of tuition because that is probably one of the biggest expenses for college. So let's talk about tuition here at MCC. You could be paying in-state tuition, you could be paying out-of-state tuition. There's a big difference per credit hour in what you pay. So for instance, if you're considered an in-state student, you're paying $97 per credit hour. What are you paying if you're out of state or, like you, an international student?
Yeah, for out-states of student, they will need to pay $372 per credit hour. But let's just consider that for international students, we should add the insurance that it's obligated. It's another part to consider that you will need to pay.
Putting that in perspective, right? If you are taking, let's say, 12 credit hours, take that times, let's say, $100 per credit hour for in-state tuition, you're looking at just around $1,200 for tuition. Whereas international and out-of-state students, they're, taking 12 times almost $400 per credit hour. So that's a significant difference. Another thing about attending MCC or community college is right now the Maricopa County community colleges are offering bachelor degrees. I recently did the calculation of what you would pay if you attended MCC for 2 years and then moved and transitioned to a university to finish those last 2 years versus doing a bachelor's degree at one of the Maricopa County community colleges. And tuition alone, guess how much it was in savings?
I don't know. You tell me.
$25,000. Now, when I went to school, I took out student loans. And I took out $30,000 in student loans. And that was for 2 years of university. Doing a bachelor's degree, if you're able to, listeners, at one of the Maricopa County community colleges, it just in savings of tuition alone, very much worthwhile. All right, so moving on, Natalia, you mentioned that there's additional expenses like books and supplies, transportation, living costs, whether you're staying on campus, if that's a possibility, or living off campus. You want to talk a little bit about those expenses?
Yeah, I think pretty often students get surprised about the transportation costs especially. They don't realize that they will need to pay for a car, parking, gas, insurance, and all of that expenses are involved when you are attending to college. Or even if you take public transportation, as I do, you need to pay even for your bus tickets. So you definitely need to consider that when you are thinking on college, when you are thinking about your supplies. The good thing is that we have the Mesa market that provides good services like food, also school supplies, but definitely are not everything that we use. We need more. So we need to consider those costs. Living, if you are considering living by your own, take in mind that probably the best way to do it is having roommates to be realistic, or stay with your parents. So yeah, I think it's important to consider those facts.
So just out of curiosity, you mentioned that you take public transportation. What's the cost of that?
It costs $4 a daily ride.
For a
Yeah.
daily ride is
Yes.
$4. And that is more affordable than buying a car, having insurance and all that.
Yes.
However, there is a downside, right? You have to know the public transportation schedule and kind of base everything around that.
Yeah, I will recommend to use public transportation if you have a bus stop near to your house, and also if you are not taking it during the night, just
Okay.
for safety reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I do as woman international student, that I don't have family here. So just to take care of me, I take that advices, and I think it really works for me. But besides that, I think the public transportation has a good system. For sure, maybe sometimes the bus is not on time, but it's just around 5 minutes. It's okay.
Oh, you mentioned the Mesa Market, where you can get free food and you can get so many personal products per week, and then also they have clothing too.
Yeah, that's correct. If you want to get more information about that, you can definitely go to Student Life.
Mm-hmm.
They can provide you for more resources, because also if you need help with housing or any other part that involve your student life,
Mm-hmm.
they are the experts.
We've talked about the costs of college. So we've got tuition and books, supplies, transportation, and living costs, whether you're staying on campus or off campus. Let's talk about ways to pay for all of that. Probably one of the first things that students should do is fill out the FAFSA, if you are able to. So FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. You fill it out once a year, and fill it out even if you don't think you're going to qualify for any federal student aid, or if you think that you're only going to qualify for loans. Because when you want to start applying for scholarships, a lot of scholarships do have the requirement to fill out the FAFSA. It can open doors down the road for student aid. Now, international students aren't able to fill out the FAFSA. Natalia, you want to talk about the different ways that you could pay for college?
Yeah, well, the first option for me, it was to work on campus.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really great idea to work on campus, because most of the times you will have the flexibility to go to your classes and then go to work. Most of the positions are based on your time and your flexibility, so they understand that on your exams week, you probably will taking less hours, and that will not damage your position, or you will not have the risk of lose that position. Most of the times they are very comprehensive with you, and they understand that at the end of the day you're a student. So I really recommend to students to try to apply to the positions that the campus offer.
Even if working doesn't cover all of your expenses, can at least give you a little bit of a cushion or help out with those expenses.
Yeah, besides you will develop many abilities that will help you once that you are of college.
Right, you get all of that experience that you don't necessarily get in your classes. Another way that can help pay for college is scholarships. If you get a scholarship, that is money that you do not have to pay back. Like I said before, many scholarships do require that you fill out the FAFSA, but there are scholarships that you don't. For instance, Maricopa County Community College District Foundation Scholarship, that most of us just call the Foundation Scholarship. It's one application, and it tries to match you to hundreds of different scholarships. It's a really easy form to fill out. There are 3 essays. Honestly, it's 7 to 10 sentences per question, and there's 3 questions. So you're actually just writing 3 paragraphs. Natalia, you have filled out the scholarship, is that correct?
Yes, I do it every semester, and I know it might be tedious to go all over, and some of the questions are, well, the answer should be an essay, so, and the people that is sponsoring and the people get to know you. I really recommend you to take your time and really read the questions, and if you need help, there's many resources on campus that can help you as a writing center. Classmates can help you to fill the questions, and also we are here to provide that type of help to the resource.
Okay, so far we have you could work on campus, you can apply for scholarships. There are companies out there that actually will pay for, or help pay at least, for their employees' college education. You know, if you're working off campus, you might just want to inquire with the company that you work with. Maybe they offer some kind of scholarships through the company, or a tuition waiver for you to attend college while and work.
Or even sometimes they pay for your loans if you already ask for a loan.
This is true. They'll help forgive those loans. Another way to pay for school is through grants, is with grants. So grants are needs based. Grants you do not have to pay back. You do need to fill out the FAFSA in order to qualify for a grant, but that is money that you don't have to pay back. And then loans. This is probably what everybody knows about. Loans. They need to be your last resort. Natalia, can you elaborate on how much should you take out in loans and when should you take loans?
Yeah, well, loans should be our last resort because basically that's money that you will need to pay back and with interest. If you are considering to take loans, our recommendation, you should try to start to take these loans once you transfer to the university.
Why would they want to wait until they transfer to a university?
Because university is going to be more expensive than community college.
And only take what you need. If you get offered a loan and they say, oh, we'll give you $10,000 for this year, but because you budget and you know what your expenses are and you know how much money you actually do need for school, you don't have to take $10,000. You can go back and say, well, I only need $5,000 in the loans. And then that's how much they'll give you. The current interest rate as of this recording is right around 6%. And then we have subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Natalia, can you tell us the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans? Like how those work?
Yeah, subsidized loans are those that you will start to pay interest after you graduate. But unsubsidized loans means that you will start to get interest since you are in college.
So when I went to college many moons ago, so I had mentioned that I came out of college with $30,000 in student loans, and it was all unsubsidized. That meant the interest started to build while I was in college. Every 3 months, I would get a statement saying that this is how much interest has built up on your loan. And I had an option of either paying that interest right then and there or not. I didn't have to. It wasn't going to hurt my credit if I didn't. But had I not paid that interest, it would have accumulated even faster because the interest would build on top of interest, on top of the loan, on top of interest, and so on. So I paid the interest while I was in school. If you do end up taking loans, what kind of loan is it? And also know what the interest rate is.
There is also private students loans.
There is.
That have a higher interest rates and they check your credit report and score, decide how much they will give you.
And what your interest rate will be. So just to kind of recap the ways to pay for college, right? We have work. You can have a job. It's highly recommended that you get a job on campus. So you can apply for scholarships. That's money that you do not have to pay back. You could ask the company that you currently work for if they have any kind of tuition waivers or they may help you pay back any loans that you currently have. There are grants. That is also money that you don't have to pay back. And then there are loans, which should be last resort.
Yeah, I would like to add that being a student, it can look really challenging. We need to manage our time, our money, everything in our lives. But at the end, paying for college is an investment in ourselves. And education is the best investment we can do. At the end of the day, we are going to be grateful about this opportunity and this time here. And I think it's totally worth it. We should be conscious that this money is not a waste. We can really take advantage. We can take advantage of the resources we have at school. Also, to make that money worth, you can involve yourself not just in your classes, also in extracurricular activities that will teach you more than just what your classes or the literal material that you are getting for classes, like life skills that you will definitely use.
I like that. Well said. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast about paying for college on this episode of College Cash Corner. Before we go, we want to emphasize that, just like Natalia mentioned, the financial literacy team is here to provide support and guidance to MCC students on their journey to improving and maintaining their financial knowledge. You can find us on MCC's financial aid website by clicking on the financial literacy section on the left side. There you can schedule a one-on-one appointment with a mentor if you have any questions or want personal support with your financial goals, access a free cash course account, stay informed about upcoming workshops and events, and explore additional financial information. Remember, financial literacy is key to achieving your goals, and we're here to provide you with the knowledge and tools you need. Until next time, take control of your finances and make your college dreams a reality.